When you are connecting with people, people feel your energy. We all mirror each other's energy. Hi, everyone. Elle Ballard is here with our next podcast this week. And this week, I want to talk about creating powerful long-term connections. And I want to start with networking. You have probably heard that people love to buy from those who they trust. And I wanted to start with that. And I want to mention today 5 tips on building those long-term, powerful, lasting, long-term connections. We all have 6 degrees of separation. Maybe you've heard that as well. And just like we are in the center of our universe, each one of us is in the center of our networks. So if I know 5 people, I might not know networks and people in the networks that those 5 people belong to. But all of those 5 people are indirectly in my network as well, right? And that's where the true power of network comes in. And I want to start with number 1 tip is your energy. When you are connecting with people, people feel your energy. We all mirror each other's energy. People see, feel your energy, your posture. They feel all of that first before they want to get to know you. So always vibrate at high energy levels. And when you do, people gravitate towards high energy. Number 2 is your intention. When visiting new groups, networking events, some collaborative events, some social events, happy hours, have an intention of why are you visiting these groups today or this particular event today? How many people are you planning to connect with? How do you want to allocate your time at the event between meeting new people and connecting with new people? So number 1 was your energy. Number 2 is your intention. Number 3 is ask good questions. So when you just start connecting, like I said, people feel your energy first, right? And then asking good question is the second powerful thing to do. And what I mean by that is asking good questions that are open-ended questions, asking them how they're doing, what the challenges that they experience right now, where are they from originally? I love connecting with people all over the world. And that's the question I usually ask people, where are you based in the world? I ask that question in my social media when I'm connecting with new people on my social media channels, right? So I love to ask those questions. And also on that note, make sure you ask a positive question, right? If you know that there is something going on in that person's life that is not necessarily a positive thing, you don't want to go there. You don't want to ask a question along those lines, right? You want to stay in the positive. And that's why people would eager to have that conversation with you, to answer that question to you. And it's a great time to get to know the person and let them speak. When you ask open-ended questions, people love to share about themselves, first of all. People love sharing things about themselves. And so as long as you ask open-ended questions and patiently listening, it is great time to let the person speak. And that's how you get to know them. So asking good, positive questions. That was number 3. Tip number 4 is being considerate of cultural differences. I love connecting with different people from cultures and backgrounds and ethnical differences because I always learn something new. But there are always things that are different about us, right? And when you are communicating with people from different cultures and cultural upbringings, that plays a significant role when it comes to communication, way of talking, your intonation. Some of the examples here is topic. Some people might be from culture, some cultural differences, some cultures might not share as much about themselves. So being willing to accept that when they're not ready to really share too much information about themselves, right? Or maybe they are not very open to tell you a lot of things before they really get to know you. So they might be very short on their answers to specific questions. That could show you some cultural difference there. Some cultures, the handshakes might be different. If it's a very strong handshake, in some cultures it's not okay, as opposed to the US culture. There's a specific way we want to, handshake, right? And this might be different situation for different cultures, depending which cultures you are communicating with. Another example here is space. In terms of when you speaking with people and when you standing too close, in the US, we want to keep our distance typically, but in some cultures, it's not even a consideration. So when you're noticing that the person is moving a little bit backwards or maybe tilting their head backwards, that could be a sign that the person is letting you know that the space in between you could be bigger, right? Like they need space. So all of these things can be, considered cultural differences for sure. And so making sure you respect those, you are considerate of those, you remember of those when communicating with new people, when meeting new people, that will be your key to creating those long-lasting relationships and connections. And number 5, which is a final tip here, having a system in place to stay in touch with those people that you just met, finding ways of connecting with them. I have a system where I record a conversation in writing. So just some of the basic things for you to remember and get back to, like what that person does, their business, people they looking to connect with, right? And all of those things will help you to also create these connections. That is something I learned when I was part of BNI, how to create those referrals for each other. And it really stuck with me. I've learned to connect people with each other when they are looking for specific people to connect with. And that's the question I usually like to ask. And in fact, this could also be an additional cash generator for you, right? So if you do cross promotional or the referrals that actually give you cash as a thank you back, right? Cash compensation. I definitely use it as part of my income too, when I connect quality people with each other, when I make quality connections, right? Exactly the person they are looking to connect with. So that's something to consider. It's just a great habit to have in business as well, or what I find in my experience. So just to summarize those 5 tips for you today. Number 1 is your energy when you're meeting someone. Be aware of your energy, how you're presenting yourself. Your intention is number 2. Number 3 is asking good, positive questions. Number 4 is being considerate of cultural differences. And number 5 is having a system in place where you record new connections. You make a note so that you can possibly connect those people with each other in the future. Or if you just met someone who is looking to connect with this particular person, you can go back to your system and find a person and connect those people together as well. And I find that's a great way to stay in touch with people. But those are the 5 tips for creating powerful long-term connections. I hope that helped you today and gave you some ideas on how to do that for your business, for your future. And I will see you at our next podcast.